Good morning. It is August 16th, 2022. Hope our creators keeping you well and safe wherever you are in the world. Please make sure to hit that like button and share this across other platforms so we can let people know what's going on out in our solar system and the effects it can have here on our planet. If you happen to be new to the channel, please make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell in case we have any critical future updates. Brothers and sisters, the sun has finally taken a little bit of a chill pill so that we can actually complete this. Yesterday when I was doing mine, yesterday morning we had an M flare, like right shortly after, and I was able to pop on. Well, as you can see, we've had quite a bit more activity. We've had a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 M flares within the last day. We had an M1, M2.7, M1, an M1.1, and an M5.1. Some of them, and believe it or not, most of them are coming from the same sunspot group, which is right by the coronal hole blowing, and so a lot of this stuff is going to blend in with all of those solar winds, and we can definitely get impacted. In fact, it's actually looking like we could get to G2 level storms and possibly up to G3. Definitely going to have some radio blackouts associated with it. As we come up, now this is spaceweatherlive.com, by the way, and this over here we are at spaceweatherpredictioncenter.noaa.gov. And this right here was the M5 that we had. It covered all over India, most of the Middle East, getting into Africa, got up into Russia, and into China. Down over here into Korea, this is a pretty decent little spot. Now, this was a moderate M flare. This is not something to panic and be all freaked out about. We've had X flares, and guess what? We're all still alive. Now, depending on how long the bombardment is, because we're having them one after another, it'll definitely start reaching and penetrating closer down to the Earth's surface. We can definitely have satellite issues, and we can also have internet interruptions, radio blackouts for sure, that are going to be associated with this. Looking at our HMI magnetogram, this right here is the sunspot group. Responsible for the majority of it is 3078. Well, the other one we have is 3079 and 3074. Now, I want you guys to keep this region in mind, because as these sunspots start to turn this way, they actually start to activate a little bit more. As we notice, remember, as they start getting closer to the western limb, going around, they start all of a sudden becoming more and more active, and we've noticed that. Well, we're sitting right smack here, and we're starting to get some flares here, and we're getting a few off of here. Now, you got to ask yourself, why is that? Why are we having this? Why is it that when it gets closer to the western limb, it's going off, and why is it all of a sudden starting to go off now? So just keep that in mind, and I'll explain that. I just wanted to show you guys the two responsible for our Earth-directed ones at this moment in time. Now, as we come down here, we're on SDO. We're back over here to spaceweatherlive.com, but we're under SDO. If you just come over here, go to Select Solar Activity, SDO, that's where we're at. So come on down here, and we're actually going to take a sneaker peeker. Right here, we're going to start off with the 304. High cadence. And as it comes around, we're actually looking for plasma. This is within the last 48 hours, and we're going to start seeing some plasma ribbons releasing off here. It's actually running a little bit slower, which I actually kind of like, because it allows us to see exactly what's going on. We saw a little friend here. Now look at all that plasma. Whoosh. Now that's the one that was from the 14th. That's going to be impacting us on the 17th, between the 17th and 18th. Well, we've got more incoming, believe it or not. Now this guy here starts acting up. We're seeing some activity. This one here releases off. Whoosh, we saw that one there, and then this one started acting up. And I believe we're going to see another one off of this, and we see more active. Yep, there's a second one off of that. This one's acting up and flaring around. Now, again, notice about where it's facing. Off to the right. Now we're having some here. Now that was the flare that we just had this morning. I believe it kind of comes to a chill out. And yes, there are several friends all over the place. There's another nice one. You see that plasma? That's coming at us too. Now, so now you see that? You see that plasma right here at the end? That's coming at us. Now right here happens to be the coronal hole. So all this stuff that's coming around from here is going to be blending in with those solar winds. Now, let me show you the coronal hole a little bit better here. We'll take a look here on 193 angstroms of light, excuse me. And as you can see, here's our coronal hole. Right here. Yes, that was a friend. And we can see all the stuff going on here. Actually, I'm wondering what the speed's going like on here. It's our playback speed. It seems to be going, it's running normal. Okay, good. It just takes 48 seconds for each one of these. But as you can see, this nice coronal hole, now we got the explosion there, and then this erupts, and then it actually starts to close the coronal hole, which actually makes it tighter. It's kind of like blow with your mouth wide open, and then close your mouth and have a tight hole out of your lips. It blows a little bit stronger. So all of this stuff is going to be blending in with this, and it's coming our direction. Same principle. Pretty nice, I think. Coming over here and checking out 94 angstroms of light, where we can see more of the flares. Look at this. We got ourselves a little friend right over here scooting by the surface. Oh, but wait. There's more. And here's another one. Same day. Just from today. There it is. Look at that beauty. Just traversing the sun. Over to seeds to check out today. See what we got coming at us. And as we kind of slowly observe, we can see an eruption off the bottom end. Oh, look. Look at all the Borg cubes. Or should I say all the light bending, and you can see it here too. But as we look forward slowly, we can see all kinds of entrails and little friends out in space. They're pretty evident. Here's one here. You can see his little trail out behind him. So yeah, we've definitely got some stuff coming in at us. But let's go check out Stereo Ahead Cornograph 2 over here at Seeds. Alright, let's go back to 1. Uh-oh. You guys see what I'm seeing? So here's the first one. They've only got a few up, and then you got an eruption here. Looks like there's something right here. And then the very next frame, there it is. You guys see that? The plasma blowing around it. So when this gets caught up, we'll have to see what happens with this one, huh? So some of you might be asking, why is this going on? Why is this happening? Why are we getting all of these eruptions and stuff, right? Well, let me show you guys something. This right here is the other eruption. Okay, so this is our second impact. So they're showing us an impact here on the 18th, which is pretty much what I was figuring between the 17th and 18th. Okay, and this is from that first eruption. But now we've got a secondary eruption that's happening right here. And that is actually going to be impacting us between the 18th and the 19th. Right here. That's when our plasma goes up. Okay, so we're going to have a secondary eruption. So right here, boop, and you look up, it's right around the 19th, between the 18th and 19th. Now, remember how I was telling you guys about the sun? And looking at where the spots were? Where they get more active? Well, let me show you something here. Every single one of these little lines here, let me zoom in here for you. Every single one of these black and white little lines are actually our geomagnetic connection lines, which keeps us connected to the sun. Okay, so that keeps us in place where we're at. So we have magnetic draw or connection to the sun. Okay, now keep that in mind for this next photo. We're over here at planetstoday.com. So you remember we've got our magnetic connection line with the sun. All of our planets do. Well, what happens when you got two planets that have a connection line and they're right in line with each other? You have extra magnetic pull because you've got two planets that are pulling in this one specific direction. Now, remember what I was telling you about keeping an eye on the sun, because remember, this is where we're at. This is where our sunspot is, 3078. That's acting up. What about over here, where when they get to the western limb and they start getting more active? Well, what's over here? Mars is here, Jupiter is here, and Neptune is behind it. So you've got the magnetic pull of three planets pulling over this way, and then you got a magnetic lineup with us, with Saturn. And now, we're just getting started. Wait till we get over here. This could be exciting. As a matter of fact, over here at spaceweather.com, look at this, active region 3078, the one that I told you about, this guy right here, okay, we're looking at more M-class flares that are going to be coming up, and a 10% chance of X flares today. Now, we could absolutely get them, folks, because like I said, we're getting into that section where you got Jupiter, Neptune, Saturn, and us, and we're all pulling from a similar side of the planet. Okay, now the other thing is we have a cannibal CME incoming. Okay, we have the secondary one, because remember the first one from yesterday that is definitely coming to hit us, the secondary one's coming up behind it, so it's kind of going to eat it up, so to speak, or it will make it stronger or longer lasting, so to speak. Okay, that other flare that came off, that XM there, the M flare, the M5, that's going to catch up to the front one. because it was more powerful. So it was going to catch up and really, launch another one right behind it. So we've got that stuff coming in. It'll arrive together on the 18th. So yeah, on the 18th, we're definitely going to be looking at an interesting time, to say the least. Now let's see what else they happen to say here. The cannibal CME, or it could be a cannibal. They're saying, okay, it could be. Well, odds are I would go for that. Now, there is another factor we have to take into account for. The Nemesis star. We are a binary solar system, and that is something that people need to understand. We have two suns, okay? And they tell us about it in movies. It's called soft disclosure. Think about Star Trek, Star Wars. In Star Wars, when Luke Skywalker's on the planet, he can see two suns setting. In Star Trek, you have the Nemesis project, the Nemesis star. They even talk about the planet Nibiru. They talk about this stuff. It's soft disclosure for us, folks. Now, one of the things you have to realize is that with us having a second sun, our other one is a red dwarf, okay, or a brown dwarf. You can only see it with infrared. It does not emit a whole lot of light, okay? So once you start understanding that we're a binary solar system, you can start understanding our rotations and how things kind of work and cycles. This is a model of what is predicted, but may not necessarily be 100% accurate, okay? This is a prediction of what they think it is, okay, of our binary solar system. So we come into golden ages, and then we kind of go out and go back to bronze age, and then come back around into a golden age, that kind of thing. And when we get into that golden age is when right around this point, when they're at their closest that they get, okay, because it's more energy, more vibration, more awareness, and we come into a golden age. Okay, so that is something that we have to keep in mind. And when we get back to that bronze age is when they're at their furthest away, their furthest part. Now this happens approximately every 12,000 years. Please check out Jacob of Ephraim main channel under Psycho Clown World. I have 3 of them that I added in there called Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Read those 3 or watch those 3, and you'll start understanding how the Bible is actually a farmer's almanac and lets us know of a lot of this different stuff. Okay, when it comes to the constellations and the 12 apostles of Jesus and how that all works, and he died on the cross, planet of the crossing, 3 days of darkness. Well, what do you think would happen if this thing came up in our path? It would give us 3 days of darkness till it got out of the way, and then the sun would rise on the 3rd day. Makes a lot of sense when you start looking at it like that. And for those who are not sure, here's Google Earth, or Google Sky rather. Hit pause, take a screenshot of this, and take a look down here in this right corner. You can get the exact coordinates of where it's at, okay? So go look it up for yourself. They've been looking for this for a long time. That's why they've got that huge telescope in Antarctica, and why they also have taken over. They have the Vatican actually has a huge scope called Lucifer, and it's in Arizona. By all means, look it up. Now, here's another one here. Here's Nemesis here in the planet of Nibiru, which is where the Anunnaki are from. But Anunnaki is actually means those that to the earth from the heavens came. So it could be any different kinds of species, okay? They actually happen to be Nibirians. They're from Nibiru, okay? And that's what the Anunnaki gods of the Sumerian culture, which is where the Bible and Egypt, all that stuff all ties together, okay? But here's another little, sometimes they give us big disclosure, sometimes it's little. Let's just look at Helion. Does anybody remember the movie John Carter? Okay, the people that did this were also involved with Star Wars, Dune, and the Avatar. Think about that. Now, in this movie, does anybody remember where these people are from? The princess, she was from a city called, guess what? Helion. So keep your eyes open, no fear, and remember that love is the only way forward. Solar Wolf out.